Hello, successful and soon-to-be successful traders. Chris Cooper here, SecondSkiesForex.com. Welcome to another video here. This one is on preparing for your trading day. I wanted to kind of create a video that kind of gives you the groundwork, the methodology, the approach to prepare for your trading day. The majority of my students have full-time jobs, and so you either are trading uh, after work. Most likely you're trading after work. You have a long day at work and maybe you have a commute and then you get to trade. Some of you work in the afternoons or evenings, so you get to trade, or nights, and so you get to trade in the mornings while you're awake. And so it just depends, or you may be someone who has the fortune to trade full time. And so, whatever it is, you need a method and you need an approach and a practice to preparing for your trading day. This has both immense physical and physiological and psychological benefits for your body and your brain, so that when you sit down in the chair and you fire up that computer and you are going to start making trading decisions, that you've already done the preparation, very much akin to how an athlete, like if you watch, right now I'm watching like the NBA Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm watching, the hockey. They're in the Western and Eastern Conference Finals right now. In any sport, any professional endeavor, what do? Hours before they're ready to go, they're preparing. They come in a few hours before, they start getting dressed, they're preparing themselves mentally, preparing themselves physically. They stretch, they warm their muscles up, they do the exercises that they're going to do while trading. And so they're basically just kind of reminding themselves, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing today. They're creating a space within their minds that kind of seals off everything else, so that, hey, my energy is directed towards this. And that's what they're doing. We need to have that for trading as well. You need to have that for trading as well. And so that's what this video is going to do. It's going to give you kind of a methodology and a practice so that you can do that. So let's go ahead and jump on in. So I want to begin with a question. You in the ATM course will probably notice there's some of you have read one specific article that I talked about this, but the question is, when does preparation begin for your trading day? I want you to think about that and how you answer that. Look at all of your time up to this point, and then ask yourself, when does your preparation begin for your trading day? I want you to think about this. Do you just kind of get up out of bed and turn on your computer and start looking at it? Do you just kind of wake up and start looking at the markets? Maybe you have a cup of coffee and that's it. Do you get home from work and then turn on the computer or your laptop and start looking at the charts? How many of you do that? Now, I want you to think about this question. When does preparation begin for your trading day? The answer is the night before. Whether you trade in the morning, afternoon, or in the evening, preparation for your trading day tomorrow will begin tonight. It'll begin tonight based on how well you get high quality sleep or not, how much time you dedicate towards that. Do you actually look at the charts before you go to bed to kind of remind yourself, okay, these are going to be some things I'm interested in? Do you look at the economic calendar to make sure you're not trading into an NFP or, a major announcement? Do you prepare yourself mentally to say, okay, when I wake up, these are the things I'm going to do tomorrow? That's preparing for your trading day. This is the very beginning of your preparation for the trading day. It begins the night before. If you were to go out and if you don't believe me on this, go ahead tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow you're going to trade. Okay, tonight I want you to go out with your buddies. I want you to just drink as much as you possibly can. I want you to eat really crappy food. Get home at 3, 4 in the morning, and then tell me how you feel the next day. Let's see if you feel ready to trade. Most likely you won't. This is intuitively obvious. We know this. But yet we kind of haven't really brought it out more, fleshed it out more to make it a practice for us. So your preparation for tomorrow's trading day begins tonight. And this is a key thing to understand, that if you become that person who continually prepares for tomorrow by what you're doing today, You're continually laying these seeds to build up your self-image, build your confidence, so you do the things that you need to be ready. You kind of orient your subconscious mind so that the thought programs and the neural networks that you engage are much more directed and singular towards your trading. And this is why it's very important for us to understand that when we want to have a good trade day tomorrow, we have to start with today. Okay, another question here. Not really a question, but more a statement along these lines, which is that failing to prepare, which is what a lot of traders lamentably do, is that failing to prepare is not being a trader, just like failing to warm up before a game is not being a professional athlete. In trading, if you don't prepare, you're not a trader. You're a philanthropist. You're someone who donates to the market. The numbers are stacked up against you. The edges are, very difficult to maintain and create and manifest. And, there's a lot of information in the market that you don't have access to. And yet, you're saying you don't need to prepare? Come on. You know better than this. And so I don't need to give you a little backhand reminder about this. That if you don't give yourself every possible edge, you're not being a trader, you're being a philanthropist. You're going to be someone who donates to the market. And so, how many times have you failed to prepare for anything major in your life? Whether it was your finals, whether it was, a sports game or something like that, whether it was like your wedding. You know how that turns out. So why don't you treat trading with just the same level of care and sincerity and seriousness? This has to be done, and this is why it's so important that we build this into our mindset, into our activity. Now, with that being said, I've kind of created some models for you here in terms of preparation, just general preparation programs that you can run. The start time of your trading day does have a major impact upon that. So I kind of created the simple platform, or simple different models here: morning, afternoon, and evening. So if you're a trader in the morning, I'm giving you this is exactly, I trade in the morning. This is how I prepare. So I get up, I shower, and I don't eat before I shower. And the reason being is that because if you eat, the energy wants to go towards your digestion. Your digestive organs need your energy to digest the food. But if you shower, it's very stimulating to your largest organ, which is your skin, and your external parts of your body, so it actually sends the energy away from your digestive tract and your digestive system. So it makes it harder to digest food right after if you shower right after you eat. So shower first, then I get up and I have light fats or protein to power the brain, because the brain is composed of fatty tissue and it needs fats and proteins to power up. That's its biggest source of power. From there, I do meditation, and if that's something that you don't do, then you can do D2B, which is deep diaphragmatic breathing, which I'll talk about later. And then from there, I'm preparing my mind for what I'm going to execute during that day. I remind myself, hey, this is why I do all these things. So I kind of dangle the carrot psychologically, the inspiration of why I'm doing all this. And then from there, I visualize and I basically see all the things that I'm going to be doing for that day. And so this kind of cues the subconscious programs in my mind, hey, this is what you need to be executing. This is what you need to be doing throughout your day. And then from there, once I've done all that, boom, hit that button, power up the computer, monitors turn on, lights come on, everything like that. And what am I doing? I'm doing PA context from the beginning, top down. So that is my model for trading in the morning. Now, trading in the afternoon, perhaps you maybe work evening or nights. Okay, fine. Then what I would recommend is 30 to 60 minutes between eating, say, middle of the day, like your lunch, and prepare for your trading. Same thing, do the meditation or deep diaphragmatic breathing, do your mind preparation, and then your PA context. Why did I say have 30 to 60 minutes between your eating, your meal, and then how you are going to prepare for that day? Because when you eat, your digestive system is going to take and draw a lot of energy. That's why sometimes you kind of get sleepy or go into a food coma. And so, with that being said, I recommend having a little bit of break. You eat, take some time to digest it, maybe go for a nice walk, and then from there, after you've digested your food, then that energy is out of the digestive system and it's no longer needed. And then you can shift right into the energy is there available for your mind. So it's the same program as the morning, minus the shower part, and you don't have to focus on the light fats or the proteins. Hopefully, you've had some really good protein and fat for your lunch. But other than that, it's the same program. Then you do your mind meditation or deep diaphragmatic breathing. You do your mind preparation of preparing the mind for what you're going to execute. Then you do your PE context, and that's it. The next one is trading in the evening. You work 9 to 5 job, and so you come home. I do not recommend just sitting down and turning on the charts and going into that. You need time to let go of your experiences of work. You need to kind of just release that, kind of switch gears, let your mind rest for a little bit from whatever commute you've had. So take some 30 minutes downtime after work. De-stress, relax, release all that. So this way when you come to the charts you're fresh, or as fresh as you can. Have some tea. You can do the meditation or the D2B, deep diaphragmatic breathing. And then same thing, mind prep, PA context, and that's it. One other thing I like to recommend as well is that if you are trading in the evening, do not trade up to the point you're going to sleep. One, I talked about this in an article, is that trading screens have a particular, they produce a particular photon or type of light, particle of light, that tells the brain to stay active and stay awake. So it makes it much harder to go to bed if you like look at the screen, shut it off, and then go straight to bed. So I recommend 30 minutes of downtime for that. Second, you don't want to be having dreams of trading. You want to be having dreams that most dreams of trading are generally not good. They're generally mostly about like worrying about trades, and it's oftentimes thinking about the price action movements of the market, and they aren't even really connected to reality. So with that being said, ideally you're not having dreams about trading or the markets or your trades or anything like that. It's just fresh dreams that are kind of processing things on an unconscious level. So definitely take some downtime. If you are trading in the evening, do not trade all the way up to bed. Take a break on that one. Now, part of our preparation, and the reason why I do this, is that we're not just ready mentally, we're ready physically. Even though there isn't much physicalness required per se for trading, we're just sitting in a chair. Your muscles are sitting there. It does require some, I guess you could say, ability to sit for long periods of time, and especially if you've been sitting all day at work. And it also requires your body to be physically ready as well, because you're going to be dealing with emotions, you're going to be dealing with stress and stress hormones, and increased heart rate and all kinds of things. So you need to be ready both mentally and physically. And so we do all this preparation so that we are kind of at the top of our game. But it's very important that we are rating ourselves mentally and physically, what that state is before we're trading. If you are severely mentally off, maybe you lost a family member, maybe something happened with your significant other, a family member, a good friend of yours, something at work that was really disturbing, you got a car accident, anything like that, whatever it is, take time off. Don't trade that day. If you're not ready mentally, you're not ready physically, if your body is in a lot of pain, if you are, if your body's in immense amount of pain, or feeling nauseous or whatever, your body's not in top shape, don't trade. What I do is I just take a scan of how I feel mentally and physically, and if it's not, 10 is like awesome, and 0 is like shit, like I'm about to die. If I'm anything lower than a 7, I'm not trading that day. Hey, I'm not looking at the markets there. I may look at it, but I'm not doing any trading, and I'm just focusing on other things. I want myself to be in top shape physically and mentally to trade. It's already challenging enough. I don't need to add to that. And so, after you've done all this preparation, rate yourself. How do I feel? Am I incredibly distracted by something that happened outside of my life? Okay, fine. Take a break today. It's okay. Market's gonna be here tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. You're not gonna miss that much, and even if you do, you can get the next day. So take time to rate yourself mentally and physically, so that after all this preparation, you're feeling great. And if you're not, okay, take the day off and come back the next day. So I talked about deep diaphragmatic breathing, D2B, and so what that is. And so deep diaphragmatic breathing, if you're not going to do meditation, this is like the next best thing you can get. I recommend doing this 5 to 15 minutes before trading for at least 1 to 5 minutes. And so deep diaphragmatic breathing is a breathing practice, and I'll describe how it's all done, that stimulates the 10th cranial nerve, which is called the vagus nerve. And I've talked about this before. In case you don't know this, the vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the entire body. And it basically goes from the brainstem and it comes all the way down along our spine in the central column here, and it connects and it's innervated to all the major organs of our enteric nervous system, which wraps around digestive organs, our lungs, our heart, our glands, and it connects to all these things: liver, gallbladder. It connects to all these organs. And so, by doing this, by doing deep diaphragmatic breathing, you're increasing vagal tone. And when you increase vagal tone, you increase the ability to relax when under stressful conditions, lower your heart rate, suppress intense immune responses, or kind of fight or flight. It allows you to also open up and access your PFC, your prefrontal cortex, which is the most evolved thinking portion of your brain. That's the part of your brain you need highly active and engaged in if you need to be doing really good trading, if you need to calculate and make decisions and analyze patterns and find patterns and see what's happening in the market and read it correctly. You have to have your PFC and be in your PFC, and if you're not, then you're not going to be able to make good trading decisions. Deep diaphragmatic breathing helps to do all this. And so to do it, very simple, you could just sit up in your chair, make sure your spine's straight. You can have your palms down on your knees. Your feet can be your ankles can be directly under your knees. They're 90 degrees under your knees, and your knees are shoulder width apart. You can have palms on the knees, or you can have palms on your belly, one on top of the other. And this type of breathing is done through the nose only. It's not through the mouth, just through the nose. And so when you inhale slowly, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be imagining that you're filling up the breath, kind of like if you had an empty vase and you pour water into that vase, it fills the vase from the bottom up. And so when you inhale, that's how you're going to kind of visualize and experience this deep breathing, because we want to get into the diaphragm. And so you're going to kind of experience it as if it's filling your diaphragm from the bottom up. And after you've kind of inhaled a bit, you don't want to max it or force it out, but after you've done that, just a brief pause, not really holding it, we're just kind of relaxing. And then when we exhale, we're exhaling from the top down. So just like you're pouring that water out of that vase, it comes from the top down basically. And so that's deep diaphragmatic breathing. And on the low end, 1 minute; on a high end, 3 to 5 minutes. But that's more than enough to increase vagal tone, stimulate the vagus nerve, and really just kind of relax the body and mind. It's kind of like a pseudo meditation practice, which is, if you're not going to do meditation, this is virtually the next best thing. Now, a couple things I want to mention outside of this is that preparation, you're doing all these things physically and mentally. Preparation also includes clearing distractions, you know, turning off Facebook, turning off the social media, turning off the phone. I had a friend who, he was an interesting cat because he didn't trade, like 225, 250 days a year. What he would do is he would go into like a huge intensive trading experience where he would trade for 12 hours a day every day of the week that the markets were open. And during that time period, he wouldn't talk to anybody. He wouldn't even touch social media. He wouldn't answer email. And all he would do is just absorb the market. That's all he did. You couldn't do anything with the guy. He literally just ate and slept trading. And he was so focused for that 1 month period that he would just crank out a ton of profits. And then he would take some time off, and then he'd come back to the markets. And he usually did like 1 month on, 1 month off. If he had a crushing month, like he just totally nailed it, he would take 2, 3 months off, and then come back and do it again. And it's an incredibly, it was an incredibly effective method for him. I mean, he had a couple months, he did like 250,000, and so he had his system down and he did it. And so for him, he was clearing out all his external distractions so that 100% of his mind stream was focused on markets and trading, nothing else. Another thing about preparation is making sure your physical office is clean, it's neat, it's organized. If you remember seeing the picture, the black and white picture of me in my office with the 6 trading screens, you'll notice it's incredibly minimalistic. There's nothing in there that doesn't serve the purpose of what I'm doing in there. It all is a communication to me, and that's what visual things are. Your office is a communication. Your office space is a communication, and it communicates to you a particular state of focus and an energy of what you're concentrating on. And for my office, that's trading. And so, you know, I generally clean my office once a week to make sure it's totally clean. Plus, I have a cleaning lady that comes in as well. But anytime you come to my office, you're going to always see that's in tip top shape. Because that carries energy, that carries potency. Just like when you go into somebody's giving you a ride and you get in their car and it's super clean, you think, like, wow, this person's got it together. Contrast that to a person, you get in their car and the car's really dirty and messy, and it kind of changes your impression of them. People who care for things get energy back from them, and this is very, very important. So we do all these things for what reason? We do all these things to produce a positive thought stream that inspires us, that reminds us of why we do this, that communicates to our self-image, hey, I'm going to do the extra work that I need to make this, to do the best I can day in, day out, and to take this as seriously as I can, and to totally push myself to the max. That I'm going to treat this like a profession, whether I'm doing this for a couple hours a day or 10 hours a day. All of this leads to a very constructive mindset and thinking. It's directing our energies in that flow of mental energy and that mind stream towards successful trading, towards a winning mindset. And one other thing about preparation that I kind of wanted to mention is that a person who is prepared is they see the problems, but they don't dwell on them. They see the problems and then they focus on solutions. And so when you do this, you say, okay, I got to worry about this and this and this. I know that's there. Okay, well, how am I going to solve it? Okay, I'm going to focus on this and this and this. Well, you don't want to be dealing with problems in real time in the sense of like they come up and, oh shit, I have no idea how to do this. I prepare for the things ahead of time. I prepare for these potential scenarios that could go against me. And then I come up with solutions ahead of time so that when it comes time, I know exactly what to do. When you do all this preparation physically and mentally, it creates a positive thought stream, creates a very constructive mindset, and it produces a subconscious mind that's focused on solutions. Those three together create a winning mental edge. And that's what we're trying to do when we go into our trading day. So that the first time we click that button to get in a trade or look at the charts, we already have a winning mental edge. And that's the end goal of what preparation is about. So that the moment we attack the markets, we have an edge on the mental side. We are ready to win from the beginning. And so, with that being said, that is your lesson on preparing for your trading day. So I hope you found this a valuable lesson. I hope you found this useful for what you are going to be doing. I have a routine that I've been doing for over a decade now, and before I really do anything, I'm always preparing for my day. And that includes my meditation, my yoga, and my getting body ready and getting healthy and getting my brain fed. This is super critical. And I can't even tell you, every single day I'm ready to attack that day with 110% of my energy. I've cleared all the stuff from the night before, the day, the week, whatever, and that day is fresh and I'm ready to go. And that's what I wanted to teach you in this lesson, and that's what I wanted to offer you here. And so hopefully this has offered you some ways to do that. So with that being said, I look forward to your comments and questions on this. I'm sure there'll be dozens and dozens on this, and I hope this kind of produces a mirror to how your preparation is for your day right now and how you could improve it and uplift it. And so with that being said, I will look forward to your comments and questions, and I will see you inside the course.